Your lack of commitment is almost an insult to the people who believe in you. What got me to where I am and where I continue to go and where I will continue to go is an insane work ethic. You can only put in that amount of work if you were doing something that you are passionate about. And that's what I have engaged my entire life's work in, things that I am passionate about. You cannot fully commit to something if you are not passionate about it. So you must look at your surroundings, at the things you are involved in, and ask yourself, are you truly passionate about these things? Do you truly want to put every ounce of your being into these things? And I am blessed, truly blessed by something. I am not sure what it is, but I am blessed that I was able to find my passions, my passion, the fight game, the whiskey game, the fashion game, the fitness game.
Yes.
These are my true passions, and I am going down these avenues that the fight game has opened up for me. I'm going down them at 100 mile an hour with no brakes and full confidence in what lies ahead, and great things are happening. I have gone through times in my young career of lapses in motivation and seeking that energy, but you know, I'm not supposed to be here. Where I come from, it's it's on my whiskey proper number 12. I come from a place, Dublin 12. It is a hard-working town, a small little suburb. It has its good and it has plenty of bad, but I always like to focus on the good because the good shines through. But where I come from, we're not supposed to climb to these heights. We're told that. It's instilled in us. And I wanted to break that mold and pave the way, open up paths. You know, like driving on them towards them building sites, and I'm just a young kid. I'm a first year apprentice plumber on a building site. They're the guy that goes to make the tea. They're the guy that goes and gets the copper pipes from the storehouse and carries it up. It's the hard work that's not respected and not admired or not, so I was on them building sites, cold and damp, and I was like looking around at the fully qualified people on the site and their postures not right, and that was not me. I knew I could do something better. I knew I had something in me. I just wasn't sure even what it was. I was training for the fight game, but no one in Ireland had made it in the fight game. An Irish man in the UFC was literally, and I mean literally, laughed at. We were laughed at. I was laughed at when I said we were going to get to the UFC. Myself and my team were going to get to the UFC. Never mind get a win. Never mind even get a win in the UFC. Then win a belt. Then win the second belt. I've just used all that fuel that I'm not supposed to do it, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to outwork everyone that says I cannot do it. And that's what I did. And that's how I rose up. And long may it continue. So my sister, when I was a young kid at around 15 years of age, unsure where I was going, came to me with a book, The Secret, and preaching the law of attraction. And I was like, stop, get away from me. I'm only a young kid. I didn't care about that. I wanted to just go out and play. I wasn't interested. I was almost laughing at it. But then she kept on me with it, and I eventually watched a movie on it and read some books on it. And then it started to resonate with me, like to keep positive and have belief in where you're going. And you're able to, you can almost visually create your entire world. No, not almost. You actually can. You can. And then I was like, I'm going to do that, and I will do that. And then that's when I began to practice it. I practice it. We used to drive, my girlfriend, we used to drive to a food place in like a shopping mall in Ireland, and it was a very busy shopping mall. And I would practice like little parts of it. Like when we were driving into the shopping mall, the car park, I would always visualize that the car park space right at the front door would be empty for me, waiting for us to pull up. Yeah. And sometimes I'd get it and sometimes I wouldn't get it. But when I got it, I'd celebrate it like I just won my double world title. When I kept building on that, and I got better at it, and I became so damn good at it that I was able to go into bouts against undefeated fighters not defeated for over 10 years, or people with insane fighting legacies, and I was able to go in front of the world and tell the world, I'm going to knock this man out with this exact shot at this exact time, and I done it back to back to back. All in is a term I like to use in my ventures. All in. We've got to be all in on our ventures. See, I was visualizing before I even knew about it. Obviously, soccer is huge in Ireland and the UK, and it was my first love, most certainly. I used to sneak out of the house late at night, and there used to be a little grass patch by my home, and I'd take the football out and play on the grass patch on my own, and I would kick the ball against the wall. And when I kicked the ball against the wall, I would imagine it was a goal, the goal net, and I scored a goal, and I would run off, and I would visualize a screaming arena cheering me on. And they were my first visions of selling out arenas and doing these type of things. Although it didn't end up in the football game, I ended up in a similar one. So it all worked out, and it was all true visualization. So I was just a young kid with a dream. For many times I was laughed at and not believed in, but you know what? Nothing external can defeat the internal. The only thing that can take someone down or break you down is internal. Nothing external is strong enough. It's just about making sure your internal dialogue and your internal belief in yourself is strong enough that it can withstand the external. The external is there. You've got to accept it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to understand it and be aware of it. But don't let it seep into your internal dialogue. I'm up and down and growing with this. I'm trying to continue to learn. It's a daily occurrence. Not to let that external infiltrate my internal. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, because I have let it infiltrate it at times. You know, for so long, like in my mid to late 20s, when I started to acquire wealth and acquire money, I was fascinated with materialistic things. I would buy myself cars, watches. I switched off of that now. It's like I realized I was spending things on material items and not things on myself, on my being, on my fitness, on my health. I've switched that completely. We've got to be in shape. I think a trait of the successful is to train early, wake up and train early. You've got to be successful, or you've got to be in shape physically to be in shape mentally.
Yes.
They go hand in hand.
Yes.
So I'm putting a lot more time into that, and I realized I actually realized it first when I read it on LeBron James. He spent $1.5 million a year annually on himself.
I know, his body.
Physical therapist, masseuse, nutritionist,
hyperbaric
trainers,
oxygen,
all of that. And you know what? When I seen that, I said, I spent zero. I spent zero. I just, when a camp forms, when a fight forms, I'll gather a team of people. We go into the Vegas desert, lock ourselves away for 10 weeks and do insanity work. If I'm training back at home during camp, I have fighters locked in a hotel room waiting on call to be called and to come and fight me.
Yeah.
It's an insane game, but it's not all in again. I'll go back to that term. It's halfway in. And then you can't be that way, and you certainly cannot be that way in the fight game, but in reality, you can't be that way in any game you're in. If you're in a game, make sure you're in it all the way, all in with it, and then that game will be your game.